I believe everything is going.
Are you
and
rolling
is
on the
recording.
QuickTime, Donald?
No, I record on the Zoom still, Brody McDody.
You got the Zoom.
Oh, you go old school since the beginning.
You know, since we started this bad boy, I try to keep it old school for all of the heads out there. You know what I'm saying? For all you old school heads out there, I keep it old school. I don't subscribe to the QuickTime. I don't do that. I stick with the Zoom. I have to travel with the Zoom.
Yeah.
You know, I have upgraded to the Sony camera, but you know.
Looks good.
You want to talk about some stuff?
I don't want to talk about that shit. I want to talk about how much I miss you, how long it's been since we've gathered. It's new year. I don't know when this is going to air, but it's January 7th. Listeners, we haven't been together in a very long time.
It's been a minute. I'm still sober.
I know. Let's talk about this.
Wow,
Donald and I are doing dry January. I started early. I think I started the 27th. So
I started the 30th.
Okay. So, and you're also off weed.
Still.
Dude, I'm so proud of you. How long have you been off weed?
Over a month now.
Thunderous applause, Daniel.
Good for you. Thunderous applause indeed.
And audience, I just want to clarify, to each their own. You love weed. But my friend Donald was smoking a fuck ton of weed. And I think doctors would agree that the amount of weed he was smoking was not good for him.
I don't know if they'd say that, but the Surgeon General.
You're not supposed to smoke weed morning to night, bro.
I don't know all of that. That's not what freaked me out about the Surgeon General. What the Surgeon General said about alcohol is what freaked me out. And I was like,
but yet you also stopped weed. So what was your impetus?
I did.
What was your catalyst for that?
I was just doing it too much, and I wasn't very present with my wife, and I wasn't present with my children.
Amen.
And I thought it was time. But I'll tell you, man, stopping the weed threw me down this what's the word I'm looking for? Paranoia spiral.
Yeah, I'll bet.
And I went to the doctor, and I freaking got every blood test I could possibly get.
All these things you got in your head about your health after you got off weed.
Oh, absolutely, because I started coughing, all of these things. I went to the doctor and took that blood test. You can only take it when you're 50. I forget the name of it, but it tests for over 50 types of cancer.
Yeah, I had that too.
Yeah, and I did it, and I'm cancer-free. I'm here to report and say I still have to get my...
You're saying it like you beat cancer.
I mean, but no, man, like the way I felt after the weed was trying to leave my system. You know, it doesn't want to leave. It wants to stay.
And
it's like, what are you doing?
How long were you? Yeah, well, dude, you were in serious withdrawal. I mean, you were a morning to night smoker. How long did you feel withdrawal symptoms?
I still feel it now. It's a month and a half in, and the cravings have started back up. I work out at a gym, and sometimes these cats come in. It's a private gym, and sometimes these cats come in smelling like loud, and that shit is like, oh, you smell so good. But I know I don't want to do that shit anymore. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then, since my birthday, all of this alcohol has been in the house, and it's, walking by it and looking at it is a bit torturous, but I'm not going to throw it out because it's so much money and I paid for it. And I don't necessarily intend to ever drink again. Like, I don't want to drink again, especially after what the Surgeon General said. But, I have a fear of not death, but just not being here for my children. Mm-hmm. And so because of that.
Well, dude, I'm really happy for you. I really am happy for you because I know you and I love you. And I know that smoking weed is something you've been relying on for a long time. And I know how you're not the only morning to evening smoker. I know how hard it is for people to kick it.
Yeah. So
I applaud you for doing it. And then, the logical thing would be like, all right, I'll just drink at night instead. And then you're at least auditioning, giving that up too. So that's a lot.
I'm not auditioning. I just don't want to drink anymore, bro. Like after hearing about cancer and, even the foods we eat and stuff like that, like everything is, I'm a 50-year-old man and I hate longevity. To say it. Yeah, man. Like I have most of the I don't think I'll live another 50 years. It'd be great if I did, but the chances of doing that are slim.
I lost my aunt recently.
Sorry,
who I loved very much, and she was, I believe, 85, and my dad made it to 84, and she was his sister, and I couldn't help but think, like, wow. So I've got my family's trending towards the mid 80s.
Yeah.
Which means I've got 35-ish left. I mean, I hope I get more, but 35-ish years left. It's a crazy thing to think about. Like, when you get to be our age, 50, I'm going to turn 50 in April, you start thinking about like, well, how many do I got left? And then my aunt passed away. She had a long, full life and was an amazing person. But you can't help but think like, oh God, looks like my family's making it to mid 80s.
Yeah, man. And nobody gets out of this alive. That's the truth.
What, life?
Yeah.
That's a good
Nobody
quote.
makes it out.
Put it on a shirt. Life. No one gets out alive.
Yeah. Real talk.
But I'm trying dry January. I was in New York having so much fun with the Lawrences and with Andrew Watt and with Josh Radin, and we had a blast. I saw a bunch of great shows. I highly recommend Maybe Happy Ending with Darren Criss to people. That show was fantastic. Anyway, but yeah, I came back, and I think I just get every year I find myself surprised by it, but I think I get a little, sorry, we're not really doing a comedy podcast yet. We will, but I get a little bit of seasonal depression around the end of December when it's like dark where I live, it's like dark at 4:15. And I don't know, I just get down in the dumps. And so I always know when I get to that place, I know all the things I can throw at it. I know how to throw the kitchen sink at that melancholia. And for me, it's I have to stop drinking. I have to start working out more. I have to start eating right. And if I do all these things, and I meditate, I adopted a dog, which is I have officially foster failed in adopting this wonderful dog, which is a huge source of serotonin. So I know if I throw I saw on a cold plunge, all these things that help me, I little by little can get out of it. But I started feeling those feelings,
It's really easy to fall into that. It's so easy to fall into that, especially at our age, because you no longer feel invincible. When we were kids, when I was a kid, there's nothing you could tell. I was right, too. I was pretty invincible as a youth. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like the shit I did to my body and was able to wake up the next morning and be like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, but as time goes on, you realize them days are behind you. Now it's about, it's nature, not nurture. But, I'm going to try and nurture this shit as much as I can.
You are nurturing yourself if you start taking actions that are like, all right, what's going to help me live the longest? How do I? There's so many podcasts and books out there about like, what should you be doing if you really do want to maximize your time? What should you be doing?
But it could all end in the next couple of minutes. You know what I mean? That's how life is, bro. The freaking earth could get hit by a rock, or you know what I mean?
Or you just have one of those. Or you just have one of those mysterious things like what happened to John Ritter. Like you just fucking don't know. You just have like all of a sudden, bam, you didn't know you had that gone. Anyway, we should probably just be more chipper for the people because it is the new year, right, Daniel? If Daniel's here, Joelle is having it's a very windy
internet
day in LA.
Issues.
And some of the power lines are down, and I think Joelle has a power line issue, right, Daniel?
Correct.
We didn't talk about Jersey. Yeah. Like Jersey had UFOs and shit. Have they figured that out?
We can talk about that with Johnny because Johnny's a Jersey boy. He'll be interested in that subject. Daniel, how are you? How was your break? Your beard is very full.
Thank you. It is very full. Yeah, me and the wife spent the time we had off moving. We moved from Queens to Brooklyn, so now we're Brooklynites, and we like the area very much. We're very happy here.
You look like a Brooklynite.
Thank you, and it's been very kind to us. As family here. It's been nice, but I will say, I took the last 3 weeks of the year off intending to relax, but then it was spent entirely packing boxes, unpacking boxes, setting up, facilities and whatnot. So we had a little bit of time off, but not maybe as much as I would have liked. but happy to be here.
Well, congrats on your new place.
Thank you very much.
Don,
Well
I don't know where to
done.
begin. We have so many topics to talk about. We have to talk about how you've been gatekeeping Doechii from me.
Nobody's been gatekeeping Doechii.
I
from
just
you,
learned the
bro.
expression gatekeeping, and I love it. I have a lot. I want to overuse it.
Well, if you think I'm gatekeeping Doechii, I don't want you to think I'm gatekeeping Leangelo Ball. Jello Ball's new song is fire.
Actually,
Damn.
Oh my gosh, it is fun. LeVar Ball, 3 for 3.
Daniel,
3 for 3,
wait,
my
you're
guy.
switching subjects. I
No
introduced the
doubt.
topic. Daniel, did you know about Doechii?
I am familiar with Doechii. Doechii with two eyes. Yeah,
Audience,
I mean,
if you're like me and you're not hip, if you're out of the loop, you need to check out this young lady. She is fantastic. Doechii.
Mhm.
that is correct.
I know I'm the last person to say this, but she's reminds me of Lauryn Hill, no? In that she can rap, she can sing, she's writing it all, she's beautiful, she's fucking so talented.
She's extremely talented.
Her video that I sent you? What is
You
that
know,
video I sent?
She told her record label, I'm going to go away and write a record.
Mhm.
And they were like, well, what do you have? She's like, on this date, I'm going to drop a record. And they were like, well, what do you have? She was like, I have nothing, but I'm going to go do it. And she went away and did it. Came back with it.
But I mean, I'm just blown away. I've been watching. I went down a rabbit hole watching her tiny desk thing and her videos.
Tiny Desk was pretty good, man.
dude.
Tiny
And,
Desk
Tiny
was
Desk
great.
was fire, dude.
and her music video. Do you remember the name of the song that I sent you, Donald? With like a sitcom set. It was
Denial
Yeah, but
is a
that's a-
river.
Yeah, Denial is a River.
That's
You
a
saw the
bunch of
video?
artists. That's a bunch of artists on that, though. Like,
Yeah,
there are a
it's still
bunch
like
of...
her music video,
Yeah,
or like
absolutely.
that's the idea. It was
All right, well,
promotional
audience,
work for her album.
audience, go watch this music video for Denial is a River. It is so innovative. Kudos to the directors who, and I don't know who, I assume it's their idea or it's her idea or both. I don't know. But I thought it was so innovative and cool. I was just smiling through the whole thing, being like, wow, what a talent. What an exciting new talent.
Very impressive. She's not new either. She's been around for a
But
bit.
isn't she young? How old is she? Early 20s?
I don't know that.
Daniel, can you look
I'll
that
look
up?
it
I'm
up.
curious. It reminded me of Donald Glover, like when he came out with This Is America.
But he had been around. That's the same thing Donald Glover had. I stay woke. Niggas creeping.
Doechii's 26.
26. Well, young and very talented and exciting.
Very.
All right, that's one topic. Do you want to talk
Leangelo Ball has dropped fire. And here it is for your listening pleasure.
I don't know who Leangelo Ball is. Okay, that's Leangelo Ball. I'm not hip to him yet.
Oh my God. Okay, so he is a basketball player who his father, LeVar Ball, was saying how his boys are the next stars in the NBA. And one of them is the number one all-star vote getter for guards this year. The other one just made a comeback to the NBA after being out for over a year.
Mm.
And now Leangelo, who made the NBA but kind of fell off in the NBA, made a record that's so fire. You play that shit in the gym and everybody's freaking dancing.
Wow. So he came out of nowhere with a album, and he's a basketball player.
And he's a basketball player, but the record is fire.
Okay.
I slept. LeVar, 3 for 3, boy. 3 for 3.
What does 3 for 3 mean?
He predicted that they would all be stars. And he was right. 3 for 3.
Okay.
And he predicted it when they were babies too. Like when they were, one was
What he did, Donald? He manifested that shit.
He did matter, but he did it in such like the most like craziest way. He was going on television saying, my boy's gonna be this and my boy's gonna be that. And people were like, slow your roll, bro. You don't know what's gonna happen. And he was like, no, they're gonna be better than such and such and better than. And so far, 3 for 3 on his boys.
All right.
If you're gonna bet on anybody, I'm gonna bet on my kids. But
Yeah.
if you're going to bet on anybody, that's the right bet, I guess.
Well, make sure your kids are also learning to rap in addition to learning to be pro athletes.
It is a part of the culture now.
Did you watch? I know you didn't watch the episode, but I was on the show Bookie, episode 4 this
Playing
season.
Rocco.
Yeah, Rocco, not inspired by your son, but audience, check out the show Bookie. It's a really funny show. I'm a fan of the show, and so I told Chuck Lorre that, and then he wrote me this part, and it's really funny. Donald, I know you didn't watch the episode, but you watched the clip I sent you.
Of course.
Did you laugh?
I did. How was I?
That was fun, right?
That's pretty impressive, dude. First of all, it's impressive that Chuck Lorre jumped from multicam to single cam.
That show's very funny. I don't follow football. I don't follow betting, but I genuinely like the show. And, Sebastian Maniscalco, I find him hilarious. Daniel, you ever watch that show?
I haven't yet, but I see it's on Max, so I'll definitely give it a look.
All right, well, check it out. You can start with season 2, episode 4, and that will make you love
that
me. Yeah. Is Johnny here yet?
No, he is not.
All right, good. I want to talk about The Office because, audience, I have to admit something to you. I had seen episodes of The Office in my life, but I've never done a full watch of the series in a row. And I told you I was having some melancholia, and I thought, you know what? Everyone always says this is one of the funniest shows of all time. This will pair nicely with my seasonal depression. And I cannot tell you how fucking funny that show is. I know I'm late to the party, everybody. Again, I had seen episodes, but I had never done a full watch. And I'm now in season 6, and it is one of the funniest shows of all time.
Did you laugh when they do the Emperor talking to Anakin shit? Don't do it, Michael. And he has the hood over his head.
I haven't gotten to that yet. That must be after
a Halloween episode.
Well, it must be after where I am because I'm in season 6. I'm not all the way to finish yet. I
think it might be earlier than that. But anyway, that shit is funny.
I don't want it to be over.
Did you see the episode where Dwight comes in dressed as Jim?
Yes.
Did you watch the end credits when the credits are rolling and he's doing Jim?
Yeah.
And he looks, that shit had me rolling too. Did you watch the one where Oscar is thrown out of the closet?
It's called Gay Witch Hunt, that episode. And it's one of the funniest fucking episodes of television I've ever seen. That episode is one of the funniest episodes of television I've ever seen. And I can't believe, by the way, when I'm done, I'm going to go watch these gag reels because I cannot believe that these actors managed to not laugh. I'm sure they laugh all the time, but they managed to, when Steve Carell is doing his thing and these people all have their straight faces, I just don't know if I could do it. I would be I obviously used to happen with you. It used to happen on Scrubs. When it was bad, I would bite the inside of my cheek.
Yeah.
But I'm watching Steve Carell and I'm going, I would not be able to not be laughing through this. He's so, obviously the whole cast, everybody's brilliant. Everybody's brilliant. Everyone has their moment to shine. Everything Creed says. Creed is like
Creed is a freaking assassin.
But Creed is like their fucking Rob Macchio, the Todd.
Yeah.
Because he's got one line an episode and without fail, I laugh every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just watched an episode called Murder, where they're playing a murder mystery game, and Creed gets to work late. And when he arrives at work, he says to Michael, "Sorry, I'm late." And Michael, in character, is playing the murder game when he goes, "There has been a murder, and we suspect you." And Creed goes, "Okay, let me just put my things down, and I'll be back." And then you see him run to his car and skid out. I feel like we should do a rewatch of The Office.
You know what? We said that early on.
I know, but now I kind of want to do it. I wish I had done that. We should try it. Listen, we could audition it and do like 3 episodes and see if we enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Because I've been sending Donald clips. Some of them are like, shit, I can't believe they did on television and these episodes are still up on television. But I will send Donald like video clips of what I've been watching, and I'm like just laughing, like, oh my God. I know some of you are listening going like, yeah, bro, we know The Office is funny. But I feel like those of you out there who are listening because you love Scrubs, and obviously Donald and I can't have that kind of relationship with the show because we're in it, but I feel that with watching The Office now where I'm like, I'm so invested in these people. I love this family. They're so bizarre, but I'm sad to know I'm on season 6 and it's going to have an end. And I know there's a reboot happening. I know there's a reboot happening, but it doesn't have the cast. I wish they were doing it. I think it goes to 8, but Carell's not on 7 and 8. And I'm not going to be a hater. I'm going to be open to 7 and 8, but I can't imagine the show without Carell because to me, it's all about him.
He's hilarious. When the dude asks him, when the HR company comes in and they're asking him all of these questions and they're trying to catch him out there and he's doing his best not to fall off. And they're like, Michael, what are the mountains? And he's holding it in and he goes, they rest upon me lady's chest.
Oh my God. The fact that when we were talking to Brian Baumgartner, I had seen maybe a dozen episodes, but now I wish I could have him back. I have so many more questions now that I've fucking binged the whole thing. Yeah. But man, that guy is so funny. And every single character actor on that show has a moment to shine. And I'm so invested in Jim and Pam. I literally, when Jim proposed, I literally clutched my pearls. I was so caught off guard. I was like, I that's how invested I was in the show. I was like, and then when they got married, and when they did the little thing with Niagara Falls, I had like tears in my eyes. I was so invested. Anyway,
how about Amy Adams? Early on, Amy Adams on the show.
Yep, Amy Adams. There's so many funny guest stars, and it's just a brilliant show. I think I'm going to go back and it's funny. I never really watched the other shows that people that love Scrubs would say are in the spirit of Scrubs, like Community. Again, I've seen episodes, never the whole thing. Parks and Rec, I've seen episodes, never the whole thing. But now I'm kind of inspired to just start watching these shows because we've always heard, you and I, like, people that love Scrubs often like these shows, and I just never got around to like sitting and binging them, and now I am.
That's the question, though. The reason why these shows were so great, though, also, it's not just the actors on the show. The writing was so cutting edge. Scrubs' writing was so cutting edge. Yeah. And in this day and time, you don't really see this type of writing anymore. You don't see this edgy.
Well, you can't really be as edgy as Scrubs was and as The Office was anymore. Obviously, on. I don't know. What are you saying, Dale? Are you saying you can? I don't think you can be. What are you saying?
I think it's it feels like it's like a different kind of edge now. I look at a lot of like animated shows these days, like the kind of edge that like Rick and Morty does is like it is its own kind of edgy in a very, I don't know, edgy way. I think
there were racy jokes on The Office. Larry Wilmore was one of the head writers. I assume that he was writing a lot of them. They're hilarious. I mean, Donald, you agree they're hilarious, but now some of them you go, oh, you definitely couldn't put that on a TV show. Even if you're Larry Wilmore, you can't put that on a TV show now.
I think the times change and people change with them.
I do miss some of the edginess, and I know I could get in trouble for saying that.
No, you don't get in trouble for saying you miss some edgy jokes. I mean, you fucking Delirious is your favorite comedy special of all time.
It is one of my favorites. That and Raw. One and Raw. And Raw has some stuff where, you can't tell that joke anymore.
No. Not even Eddie could tell those jokes anymore.
Eddie would be like, no, I ain't saying that shit. You crazy.
We want to announce we're going to have the director of the year, one of the directors of the year, John Chu, and the editor, my friend Myron Kirstein of Wicked, on the show. That's a big get for us, Donald.
That's a huge get. Holy shit, I can't believe we did it. Well, you did it, but I'm going to say we did it.
Well, you can say we did it. But, you and I have been talking about, getting guests that are people we really admire. We have been doing that, obviously, but continuing to pursue people. Doesn't matter who they are, if they're a doctor, if they're a sex therapist, or if they're a director we like, but just trying to get people that we are really interested in. And we are both very interested in John Chu and what a fantastic job he did on Wicked.
What's his next movie that he's doing?
I know. Directing? I read that. By the way, I read that he's going to do Joseph, which you and I really are too old for, but we need to audition for him when he's on the show.
He's going to do Technicolor Dreamcoat?
Yes. I don't know if
But
it's
that's not
next.
his neck. That's not the next one. There's something else that I read that's like pretty exciting. I don't know if it's a musical or not, but if it is, he does them well. I think he's doing La La Land too. That would be awesome.
No, he's not. I think he's got a lot of kids under 5 or something, which is insane to do what he did and have that many young children. I mean, obviously, it goes without saying they must have help, he and his wife, but to take on an undertaking of the scale of Wicked and have like, I don't know what it is, Daniel, maybe you can look it up. He's got like 4 kids under 5 or something like that.
I'll look it up.
I was disappointed at the Golden Globes, but I was also very happy.
What disappointed you? You wanted Wicked?
What disappointed you?
Well, I wanted Ariana and Cynthia to win, but the people who won, I was very happy for. Like, I was very happy that Demi Moore won. I was very happy that she won. You know what I mean? And I was very.
Did you see that movie, Donald? Did you see The Substance?
I did. I have not seen The Substance.
I think you'd like it.
You got to see The Substance.
You got to see it.
But not just that. I was very happy that Zoe Saldana won also. You know what I mean? That was. I was very happy about that.
I saw that movie, Emilia Perez, and she is wonderful in it. She's a very, very good actress, and I'm happy for her. And her speech was lovely. And and by the way, I don't think you'd like Emilia Perez, knowing you, but I think you will love The Substance.
Well, yeah, man. I think I would like Emilia Perez. However,
I don't know. You might like it. It is a musical.
And it's subtitled, so that's kind of tough. But
what's that?
It's subtitled, and so I'd have to stand really close to the screen so I could read the
Why
words.
did you stand close? I just saw you got
my eyesight. I saw you just got
glasses.
Yeah, but that's to read, man.
Oh, then why didn't you also get?
That's next.
So you went to the doctor and only got one pair of glasses when you need
No,
two?
I went to the doctor and I didn't go to the doctor. My wife was like, "You need readers," because I was like, "I
readers."
Can't. Yeah.
Oh, why don't you go to the ophthalmologist, my friend?
That's the next step.
Especially since you're checking in on all your health.
That's the next step.
Those glasses are cool. You got those readers, though. What else can we talk about before we're waiting for the legendary Johnny C. McGinley to join us, talk about all things Johnny C. What else have you been watching that you liked?
Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew. Okay.
That's
a kid's Disney show, right?
It's a Star Wars show that stars Jude Law and a bunch of kids. And it is, I mean, I'm going to be, me personally, I feel like they've now found the stars of the next generation for Star Wars. We don't need to worry about Rey Skywalker. We don't need to worry about Finn or Poe Dameron. They can be in the background now. Let's follow these 4 kids on their adventure after whatever this show is. It's supposed to tie into, this grand movie that's coming out later on that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are putting together, where they explain how Palpatine returns in the later Star Wars sequel trilogy. But I think they found 4 really good people to follow into the future, and we don't need to. It has nothing to do with Luke Skywalker. It has nothing to do with any of that. These kids are so good and so smart, and they're playing this so well that I think this is the future of Star Wars. I would stick to this instead of trying to figure out how to piece together all of this puzzle that Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams created when they decided to, retcon some shit and, kill certain people and stuff like that. Like,
are they building another big Star Wars movie? They must be, right? Like, who's developing the next like big Star Wars movie that can continue from what J.J. did?
It's Dave Filoni that's doing it, and Dave he's a master of Star Wars. He has the reins now for the next big Star Wars movie. Yeah, him and Fav.
And who will be in it from the cast? Will it be
Adam
Driver?
know. Adam Driver's in Star Wars?
Isn't
he's Kylo Ren.
Why did?
Oh, that's right. Why did I not know that?
He's dead. I not know that.
He's dead though.
But wait, let's go. But you were off weed and you didn't know Adam Driver was in Star Wars?
I didn't know who Adam Driver was for a hot second. I'm like, who the fuck is Adam Driver?
That must be like a weed remnant, like just like firing off in your
dude,
brain.
This
This is like your religion, and I'm like, is Jesus in it? And you're like, who's Jesus?
Yeah, dude. For like 3 weeks, I still felt high, and every now and then, I still get that.
Well, I'm here to tell you that Adam Driver is in Star Wars.
Right, he
and
plays
don't tell me
Kylo
he's
Ren.
dead.
Ben
That's
Solo.
a spoiler.
No, it's not a spoiler. He dies in The Rise of Skywalker.
Spoiler.
You saw The Rise of Skywalker at my house. What are you talking about?
I did?
Yeah.
Do you want to see my baby?
Yeah, I do want to see your baby.
She's 80 pounds. I got to use both. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Don't hurt your back.
Oh, God, you're so fat.
Don't get that hernia. Hey, baby.
This is Penny. Penny, say hi to the audience. Look at those eyes.
She's beautiful.
I love her. Okay, baby. 80 pounds. Ooh. Yeah, it's officially a foster fail, Donald.
You did it.
I'm in love. Did it.
I knew that's what it was going to be.
Everyone did. Everyone on my Instagram was like, there's no way you're giving this dog up.
Mm-mm. I've made some really good Star Wars stuff in my animation room. I put my motion control camera to the test, and it's doing its thing.
Really? You've got it figured out?
No, I have people come over to help me out. I have
But
pros.
they're educating you. They're teaching you.
They are teaching me, and I am being educated. It's hard, man. It's not... I got into stop motion animation because of my love of special effects and the behind the scenes stuff that you see in your movies, like the Marvel movies and the Star Wars movies and stuff like that. That's since a kid. If I didn't become an actor, I probably would have went into that. And doing it as an older man, it's challenging. It's very challenging to retain all of the knowledge that if I was a young man and I was learning it, I would be able to breeze through. But
well, it probably helps to not be high when they're teaching you.
Well, I'm not high anymore. But
no, I'm saying like it probably helps your education to not be like, under the influence.
You want to hear something? So the stuff that I learned when I was high, I've completely forgot. So it's like, all right, how do I remember that? Like I turned on all of my equipment because I had it set up for this motion control shot for this short that I'm working on. And we at our last meeting or our last shoot, they set the table back up so I can animate again. Mm. And me trying to figure out how to move the motion control rig has become, it has to be centered. It needs to be zeroed. Like there's so many things. And I forgot all of it because when I learned it, I was stoned to the bone.
Wow.
And now I'm sober.
Kids, not even once.
Not even once, kids. Oh, shit. That sounds tasty.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to trigger you. I'm sorry. I'm good
though. I'm good. I don't want to do it anymore.
Well, your wife must be happy that you're trying new things.
No, well, that's the crazy thing. Once I got off of it, she was like, motherfucker, don't you got something to animate now? Or, because I'm all up her. All up
you're like
over
hanging
her.
Out with her more?
And she's like, ain't the Knicks playing or something? She can't take it. She's like, damn,
you're giving her too much attention?
Too much attention.
Yeah, see, you need a lot of attention.
I do. I love attention.
When I'm dating someone, I like lots of attention too, but I give lots of attention.
Yeah, so do I. I like to give.
But your wife is like, get the fuck away from me. Go do your hobby.
Yeah, my wife is not a cuddler.
You guys don't watch the same thing. She doesn't cuddle you.
No.
You guys don't watch the same thing either, right?
No.
How are your basketball teams doing?
The Knicks were doing good. They just lost 3 in a row, though.
Bill Lawrence has some floor seats for the Lakers.
Bullshit.
We haven't been invited yet.
Does he go? Does he use them?
Yes. I don't think he has every game, but he's got lots of games.
Bill, if you're not using your tickets, hook a brother up.
He doesn't listen to this show anymore, so it's fine.
He claims it's his podcast.
He claims it's his podcast, but I don't think he listens to it. And if he does, Bill, Donald and I would like to use your floor seats for the Lakers.
Please.
Here's some stories about a show we made, about a bunch of docs and nurses and a janitor who loved to hate. I said he's got stories that you all should know. So gather round to hear our Scrubs Rewatch show with Zach and Donald.
Hey, man.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, the legendary Johnny C. McGinley.
What's happening, Star?
How are you,
Hello,
brother?
Donald. Hello, Zachy.
Good to see you, sir.
I'm coming to you. I know this won't be for a week or two, where the Pacific Palisades are on fire.
Again? What the fuck? I can see the fire from my house, man. This shit is for real right now, man.
Yeah,
at the top of the hill,
it's
on.
Disco down there.
Really, in the Palisades. Now, the last time, Johnny, you were dealing with the fire. We were trying to have Johnny on a few weeks ago before the holiday, but Malibu was having crazy fires.
Well, it was raging here last night. That wind. Did you guys feel the wind in town?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we don't live near each other, but it
Donald,
is windy.
On the other side of the hill, you must have been feeling funnel through there.
It is amazing how powerful the wind is right now. I've never seen a palm tree bend that much and still, like, it looks like they're about to snap. That's how much they're bending. 80 miles per hour wind outside right now.
Johnny, can you get fire insurance in Malibu still?
Some people can, some people can't. It's just randomly canceled on you, and we still have it. But a lot of my neighbors do not, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it.
You're completely gambling with your biggest investment. It's crazy.
Yes, I think if the fire, what's in vogue is if your fire insurance is taken away from you, people start their own fund independent of that and tag it specifically for replacement expenses. If you're in a position to be able to do that, which is
well, I guess I know everyone assumes everyone in Malibu is wealthy because it's a very expensive place to live, but I'm sure not everyone is, of course. So what do they do? They're kind of gambling with their, the fires are so common, or the threat of fire is so common. You know, I went to Sean Penn's house, who is your neighbor once, and he has this incredible rig that is a pump, and the intake goes into your swimming pool. Yep. I know you know this because you've been to his house. You're his friend, and then Donald, it then becomes a pump that you can put out your house by pumping your pool water all over your house.
That's smart.
Do you guys have,
Johnny? You need to get one of those. Oh, you don't have a pool.
I don't have a pool, but I'm speaking to you today because I've spent the last couple of weeks installing a generator.
Yes, I have one of those.
That's the most important. Yeah. I want to get the
my
solar
happiness
generator.
factor right now is through the roof.
Why? Because the power's out or no?
Oh yeah, power's been out since 9 o'clock this morning.
So you have it's powers what percentage of your house?
Well, I have the ice machine is off, the hot house is off,
the ice machine off.
All the golf shack is off, all the trappings,
fun stuff. All the fun stuff.
All your Lux trappings are off.
Those are off. So there's a light, two
Are you going to be able to
refrigerators.
survive without your golf simulator and your sauna ice plunge?
That's a good question, Jackie. I'm gonna breathe.
By the way, I have one of those, and I always feel bad because the power where I live goes out often, and then the thing fire. Yeah,
oh God,
up in the Hollywood Hills. Yeah, power goes out a bunch, and but it kicks on and it's loud. And I'm the only
is loud as well.
And I'm the only house lit up on the block, and I feel like a jerk because no one else has any power, but I'm like fully lit up and making noise.
You know what's
this whole area where I live, and Zachy is familiar. Donald, you've given me the cold shoulder coming over. But this whole area is buzzing with generators right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm surprised nobody has the solar generator.
You're gonna have to find out how much that pulls.
A lot of sun. You need a lot of sun. You might not have the sun.
So, in other words, the 10,000 watt thing that I bought is a big Honda beast. And
is it a Honda? Is that the brand?
Yeah.
Oh, it runs on gasoline, though.
It runs off the gasoline.
No. Oh, it does?
Mine runs on gasoline, yes.
Oh, mine runs off the gas line.
Yes, you're very fancy.
You are very fancy.
Mine runs off the gas line, and then
What if the city cuts off the gas?
Oh, very good question, Donald. Because if there's an earthquake, we live in Los Angeles. The gas lines, they have a earthquake protection thing that shuts the gas line off.
Yep.
Well, then if you were smart enough to get a propane backup tank,
yes.
it will run off propane for X amount of hours, depending on how much you're pulling off.
You know,
of it.
when you talk to me this way, I find you to be a sexy motherfucker.
Really, you like this generator talk.
Dude, I like
this
any,
is the shit.
any do-it-yourself shit.
I don't know if
It's
the
just-
audience is bored, but I'm so interested in house generators.
Any do-it-yourself hardware projects, you got me.
Well, I didn't do it myself. You probably actually did some work. I have to confess that I would not know how to do the work, but I do have a setup.
Wait a second. Johnny, you installed your generator?
Fuck yeah. I ran conduit under the house.
Yeah, he's handy.
I did
dude.
bring an electrician to rewire some of the board.
Mhm.
But that, of course, the deal is when you come here as a vendor to do a project, I get to help.
Really?
Otherwise, you can't come.
I did that with my contractor. He was going to put together a big ass pergola, and I got the instructions. I was like, I cannot do this alone. This is. I don't want the audience to think like it's not like IKEA. Like it was meant to be put together by someone who knows what they're doing.
Sure.
But I said to him, because he's my friend now, I said, I'd like to do it with you. And he looked at me like, you're not going to really do this. You're going to spend a half hour and then get bored. Because it was like a day, it was like a full day project.
Absolutely.
And I helped him, and he taught me a bunch of things, and I had the best time. And I like that idea.
I do too. And it's been that way all the way through. I was kind of the co-contractor in this house because it's no different than producing a film. You marshal men every morning. Whatever their specialty is, you marshal them in the right direction. And I reserve the right to ask questions and help.
Yeah.
I can take a Phillips screwdriver as well as the next guy. Come on, give me a break.
Well, I felt like it was like taking a class. Because
I think it's great.
There were lots of things I didn't know, and he's the nicest guy, and he was.
I know nothing, but I'm a good learner.
Yeah, I like
Well,
that.
it seems like you know a lot more than most people do. Most people wouldn't dare try to set up their own generator to their house.
But we laid a cement pad with some rebar in it to put the. And I've laid tons of cement, and that's comfortable to me.
Right.
Then
Donald
you let it
likes,
cure for a little while, and
Donald
then you
loves
put
laying pipe. Don't you,
Whoa,
Donald?
Jackie, you're going 70 and a 30.
I do. He's not lying though, Johnny. I do like to lay that pipe.
To lay pipe. Johnny, how are you? How are things? Audience should know about Johnny C's podcast. Johnny, tell them about your podcast, how they find it. It's Connective Tissue is the title. I love it. You get some of the most incredible guests. Just pitch it a little bit to our audience who love you and might not know about your podcast.
Connective Tissue is an exploration of storytellers looking at storytelling. It's that narrow. Zachy came on. You were astonishing.
Thank you.
And it's half an acting class, half a production class. It's half how people became storytellers, what the tipping point was, what is storytelling to them, how does doubt creep in, why are you doing it, why be a storyteller, what was the influences for the storytellers, and it's that narrow a lane. I don't care about people's diets or who they just broke up with. It's really about storytellers exploring storytelling.
Yeah.
And from Sean Penn to Zach Braff, to Randall Wallace, to Brian Haugelin, Keith David, Rory Kennedy. I've had on, including Zachy, some of the most articulate people who can explore storytelling that you can't turn it off. I try to keep them within an hour.
Didn't you have David Mamet?
No, David has not been on yet.
Okay, what about Oliver Stone?
Oliver, that's a big get.
But you've gotten some guests, dude. I was scrolling. I haven't listened to all of them. I've listened to a bunch, but I was scrolling your guests, and obviously because you're beloved and have so many connections, but you've got some amazing guests.
Eric Bogosian came on, and
yes, that's who I was thinking.
Fabulous.
I was thinking of Bogosian,
But also Keith David coming on and being on the Mount Rushmore of voiceover artists, and to have Keith explore what he does when he's voicing those astonishing documentaries. he and Peter Coyote, that's it. It's Peter Coyote and
He does the
and
few, the proud, the Marines, man. He's freaking got a contract with the government. That's how amazing Keith is, dog.
Keith's it. He's the man. He's also a dear friend of mine, and we've done a few together.
You got to get Oliver, dude. Just because I know it's a hard get and he's tricky, but I just feel like everyone would want to tune in to hear you and Oliver tell platoon stories and Wall Street stories. And
Oliver's a different cat, man. I don't know how many stories he wants to talk about.
Well, some of the stories that you told us about working with him are amazing, dude. But
that's me telling it. Oliver's different. Oliver's a different cat, man. He is, in fact, the smartest guy in the room. He doesn't suffer fools, and I'm not sure if he would be interested in breaking down storytelling. It's a great idea.
You should try, just because, like, I feel like he loves you, and he would. I feel like Oliver Stone's not saying yes to most people, but he might say yes to you.
It's a great idea.
Donald and I are trying to, now then we're in this new incarnation where we're having guests on and trying to reach out to people that we just find interesting. And for us, it could be anywhere from a sex therapist to.
I heard the sex therapist.
Yeah, you've heard him.
Did it work?
We did two different ones.
I heard her. I heard the first and the second, and
what
it was
did you
genius.
think? Yeah, it was good, right?
It made Donald so uncomfortable, and where the line was that you were allowed to go. And I'm listening, I'm going like, is he gonna jump on this? Is he gonna jump on this? And you didn't. You exercised more restraint and more decorum than I've ever
I don't think I did. I think they edited out a lot of the shit that I said.
Oh, well, I thought you were on unbelievable behavior.
I think you're on good behavior. The thing about the sex therapist that's amazing is her whole thing is like, don't censor yourself. Ask me anything you want to ask me, no matter.
But wasn't her partner on with her? I don't know.
Yeah,
if
her husband does it with her. Yeah.
But that's liberating to be able to talk to her with her husband on. It seemed to liberate you guys.
Yeah, so many of these issues are so taboo still. People go, I don't know, I want to ask this question, but I'm embarrassed. I mean, even us who are, or even, what do I say? Even we? Even us?
Even the two of us.
Even the two of us who are pretty.
Even us two.
Who are pretty unfiltered, uncensored. I think she's wonderful because she has this attitude of like, don't censor yourself. Ask me anything that's on your mind.
Well, as far as things being taboo, I haven't been on this set yet, this given set, but there are now intimacy coordinators on sets. And Zach, will you explain what that is?
Well, for those of you who don't know, if you're going to do a sex scene or anything involving nudity, there's now a position on set to protect everyone, the people not involved, the crew, particularly the people who are involved, so that there isn't this unknown territory of how is this going to go. I directed a couple scenes now with an intimacy corner. And,
you did?
Yeah, and the way it works is I go to the intimacy corner and she says, what do you expect this scene to be? And I said, okay, I want, for example, in A Good Person, there's a scene where a young man is making out with a girl who's intoxicated, and he's on the verge of he is already crossing a line. So she says, what do you want this to be? Well, I want it to be X, Y, and Z, and I picture this, and maybe he grabs her in this way, and as detailed as possible. She then goes to the two actors and says, this is what the director has in mind, to each of them separately. And what do you have any problem with that? She then comes back to me and says, here's what they are okay with. Here's what, and then together on set, when you're choreographing it, she is there and she is sort of being the liaison, if you will, because this is after, decades of people feeling uncomfortable. So that is a new. And
did the scene worked in your film? But did it work? Did the mechanics of it work on the day?
Yeah, it was all great. I think it. I think it protects everyone. Some people, don't like it, have been voiced not liking the system and saying, "Oh, come on."
Has it robbed spontaneity in the frame?
Yeah, you can't. You got to stick to what you. I've had an intimacy coordinator twice.
Oh, you have?
Yes, you have to stick to what you guys discussed.
What if something is sparking for the two of us and for Bob and Susan, and all of a sudden Susan is on a train of thought and a train of behavior that Bob, it wasn't in the blueprint for Bob, And now the spontaneity, the frame, what about that?
I think it's about communication. I think that Susan could say like, hey, you know,
It's all right if you do this.
yeah,
or maybe
you can
do
grab
this.
my breast, or this is hot. Why don't we do, when we do another take, if it's okay with you, grab my, I'm just pulling this out of my ass, grab my breast. And then I think it's just about like, everything's fine as long as there's communication and people don't feel. I think in the past, here's an example. Women were feeling like they were being pushed to do things that they hadn't signed on to do. And then they were being pushed to do so in front of the crew and in front of everyone.
Of course.
And they weren't feeling safe, or they were feeling pressured. And the goal, I think, is to eliminate anybody feeling uncomfortable or pressured into something they didn't sign up for.
I think in an SAT context, your sex therapist is to couples as a intimacy coordinator is to actors.
Yeah, I think that's right. It's about like, hey, we never talked about this.
Yeah.
There's probably some breakthroughs for us to have if we had honest talks about sex, because people stereotypically in the past haven't like sat down and talked about what they like and what they don't like.
And it might allow one of the two people participating in an intimacy coordinator's coordination to put their dukes down, whether the guy has apprehension or the woman has apprehension. Maybe you could lighten your burden there because of this third party. I don't know. I haven't been on that set yet.
I will say, as I've gotten older, I don't necessarily like doing sex scenes and stuff like that. I mean,
Why is that?
I just don't. I don't like. It feels weird. You know what I mean? It feels weird to have all these people with cameras and everything on you. And I remember when the intimacy coordinator came in and they were like, we want to make sure we get a shot of you, not a physical shot of it, but we want to show that you have now penetrated her. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. And so then
So what do you
that
mean?
had to be acted out.
You sort of had to act out that you were going inside of her?
That I was going in. Yeah.
Okay. Did you do that? Did you do that well?
I think I did.
Show us what it would look like.
No. But it was just, I just remember it.
I had to do that once too in The Last Kiss.
It's weird just to think about, how I do it isn't necessarily how the intimacy coordinator or the other person sees it. And so now you're acting like, you know what I mean? It feels fake, kind of like, I don't mind an intimacy coordinator. It makes me feel safe, but clear the set. I just want the camera guy there.
Well, that's
you know
part
what
of
I mean?
it. Part of it is like, making sure the intimacy coordinator is also there to like make sure that there's no need for this to be going to everyone's monitors and phones.
Was there ever an intimacy coordinator on Scrubs for
Absolutely
you guys?
not.
No.
I
Hell
don't think
no.
so.
No.
I didn't know if maybe there was and I wasn't aware of it.
No. We were just doing
that was the Wild West, man.
But
That
you
shit
and
was
Judy
just
were, and you and Sarah, Zachy, you guys were wildly intimate.
I know that pizza episode with me and Sarah, we were just
dear
like,
God.
I couldn't believe, even when we shot it, I was like, they're going to put this on network TV. Like we were, that felt at the time very R-rated for primetime television.
But also Dee and Judy were macking and
I felt really safe
loving
with
each
Judy
other all the time.
But I felt safe with
Donald
Judy.
put his tongue in her mouth very early on.
No, she put her tongue in my mouth.
Right.
And I made the mistake of saying, oh, she slipped me the tongue.
Right. And then you never got it again.
I never got it again. And that was my
like
fault.
That was like first season. You were like, oh, I got tongue.
It was pilot episode, bro.
Yeah. And then 8 years later, you never got tongue again.
No.
Is that true?
Yeah, but I felt so safe with Judy. Judy and I don't know if she felt the same way with me, but Judy and I, we had a lot of sex scenes together.
A lot.
And it never felt like, either one of us was out of control or either, I can't speak for her, but it never felt like, I never felt conscious of my weight. I never felt, there's all of these things that come into play. I felt safe with Judy. And so I can't, that's I think that's the ultimate form of chemistry, is when you can feel safe no matter what. Like whether we were kissing, whether we were talking. If I had scenes with Judy, I knew I was good, you know?
Mm-hmm. Did you guys give yourself a mandate for your course correction or your pivot with fake doctors?
Not really.
Did you boil it down to, here's what we're going to do now?
I think it really just became, we want to talk to people we find interesting. I mean, I know that's not very narrow. Like, it's the opposite of what you're saying. You have a very, very specific niche. That's the mandate for your own podcast. I think for Donald and I, it was like, obviously, we prefer people that make us laugh because, you know, for the most part, not every episode, but for the most part, it's a comedy podcast. So we like people that have a sense of humor. But, you know, we have, you know, we had the Surgeon General on. That wasn't a laugh riot, but he was fascinating. And we had Professor Scott Galloway on. It wasn't a laugh riot, but he's fascinating.
That was fantastic.
That was a good one, right?
It was great.
So I just think that people that we go, it doesn't matter if you're an actor. We're not limited to famous people or actors, but just people that we go, I want to talk to that person. I think that's the goal. Is
I did the same thing with, I opened up the aperture a little bit with storytellers, and I had on a real estate guy here in Malibu who has sold $8 billion in residential real estate.
I know that guy's name. What is his name?
I'll tell you in a second. And what he did that was so interesting is because, of course, a house comes with a story, and which realtor is telling that story in a way that resonates for this buyer more than the other guy told it. Mm. And I'm going to do the same thing with a venture capitalist. I'm going to do it with a doula, because you're picking this doula to birth your child, which has to be the most important event in your life. Why'd you pick her? Mm-hmm. And what story did she tell you about her experience? How did her story calm you and go, oh, I want that person here with me in the bottom of the ninth when the bases are jacked. I want her coming into the pool, into the birthing tub with me. What story is she telling? His name is Chris Cortazzo.
Yes, Chris Cortazzo.
What Chris said, what was so interesting, because I kept trying to, there's no gotcha in connective tissue. And so it allows storytellers to lower their dukes. I don't want to ambush you. I really want to know, as Zachy, you were so unbelievably articulate when you came on. I really want to know specifically your relationship to storytelling. And what Chris finally, instead of telling, I call it the first date face. You know, sometimes we tell people what we think they want to hear. And I'm not interested in that. I really want to dig into storytelling, as I did with you, Zachy. And when Chris, when it was stripped away with Chris Cortazzo, this real estate savant, I said, well, but what's different about you? And he goes, I'm really nice, which is the exact opposite of what you associate with realtors who will slit each other's throats, euphemistically, to get a commission. And Chris was like, no.
What he did was brilliant. I watched it happen, and there's a area of Malibu that he little by little he sort of bought all of it. I mean, obviously off his success, and then once he owned all of it, he just said, "All right, this neighborhood is now this much more money," and it was. I mean, it's only a move a power realtor could make, but it's pretty impressive what he accomplished.
But that's all part of his vision with the story he was telling. That's what I mean. There's connective tissue back to the story you're telling, and your capacity as a storyteller to communicate your story. And so from Chris to this doula I'm going to have on, it's really interesting to open up the scope of storytellers. Now, you can't just have random Bob or Sue on if they're not capable of articulating. So there is quite a bit of discretion I need to exercise with who I'm inviting on. If someone's shrugging and I don't know, I mean, you know, and all this bullshit, that doesn't work. I need someone who has a capacity to articulate what their journey is.
You should have Bill Lawrence on.
It's a hard get.
I know, he's quite busy.
He's a little busy.
It's funny. I was with Bill a lot this holiday, and I can't really understand how he manages to do all that he's doing. Not only is he have his family that he's obviously so involved in and such a good dad. But he's got like 6 shows going, and it's hard enough to fathom being a showrunner of one show.
100%.
And granted, he's got an amazing staff, an amazing team, and lots of other incredible writers helping him and producers. Our friend Randall being one of them.
Great.
But man, it's hard to. I watch it. My point is, I watch it from the sidelines, and I'm like, fucking hell! Like one of those things would stress me out. You're talking about 6 things, yes, Donald.
Does he do them all at the same time, or does he spread it out? That's the question.
They're spread out, but for example, multiple right now, currently, just as an example, the Shrinking Writers Room is going, and Shrinking's about to go into production.
That's right.
The Writers Room for the new Carell show is going, and that's going to soon go into production. So there are multiple, and then the other ones are like, the Bad Monkey season 2 is happening, but that's a little bit far out. But he's got to get writers writing those scripts, so they all overlap.
Plus the Ted Lasso reboot.
Yes, plus the Ted Lasso
and a possible
reboot.
Scrubs reboot.
Plus a possible Scrubs reboot, and more.
That's 5 or 6.
Yeah, and then he's got other stuff
yeah.
that's happening too. But I don't know. I don't know how I'd sleep at night, let alone managing to find time for family and also your own recreation, because you don't want to get so busy that your whole life is only working.
It seems that on the drama side, Taylor Sheridan is cut from the same cloth as Bill in how prodigiously spread out he is.
Do you watch those shows, John?
I
Yellowstone?
love them.
Really? I got to get on the Yellowstone train. I've not joined
Yellowstone's
the party.
good, but the guy's gotten better and better at his job. Landman with Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah, I hear
is
Landman.
off the chart.
Yeah, I'm going to write that down.
Zoe Saldana and
Landman.
Lioness is as good as it gets.
Lioness and Landman.
Is that the one with her and Nicole Kidman?
Yes, and they're both great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've been hearing this about Lioness and Landman. Lioness, she goes undercover, right? And she's like an undercover agent.
Yes, it's special ops. It's Mr. and Mrs. Smith meets special ops.
She's
But
such a good actress.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith, when Brad and Angelina Jolie did it, was a little tongue in cheek. Lioness is not. This is the end of the world. This is desperately serious.
I like that.
But she's trying to manage a teenage girl and a younger one, and a marriage, and being the head of a special ops group that is playing for real, and it's freaking great.
Johnny, did you watch the Golden Globes? Do you have any favorite movies this year?
I don't have favorite movies as much as I have favorite TV shows.
Okay,
You're a TV guy.
What
now.
else are you watching?
The Michael Fassbender, who I'm endlessly fascinated by.
Did you hear the Fassbender story?
Is doing a remake of a French undercover thing called The Agency.
Yeah,
And
The Agency.
He's freaking great.
Did you hear
I
the
did not hear the
Fassbender?
Michael Fassbender.
No, we're not
We
going to
went
repeat
to-
it, Donald. We don't need to repeat the
We
story.
went to Yes, we do. We went to Vegas, and
Well, tell
Michael,
the quick version because the audience
I
already
am.
heard the story.
We went to Vegas, and Michael Fassbender mistook young Zach Braff
Young.
for Dak Shepard. And his way of mistaking it, he came up to Zach and goes, I fucking love you. You're so amazing. Everything you do is great. And I love chips.
Yeah, he loves chips.
Well,
he took it one step further.
Zachy?
Well, first of all,
I was the one that said it. I was like, dog, no, you're thinking of somebody else.
but then Donald being a sweet friend trying to big up me, he was like, no, this is Zach Braff. He made Garden State. He made a good
all of these-
person.
Oh, well done,
Donald
D.
Yeah, no
starts like
doubt.
listing my credits.
And this
But,
dude, he tried to walk away from us like,
Yeah.
oh, my bad. I was like, no, motherfucker, you're not going nowhere.
It
Hold
was
up.
definitely one of the cringiest moments of my 2024, especially because my heart soared because I love him and respect him so much as a thespian, and he was talking to me as though I would talk to, Scorsese. I mean, he was like, what you do, no one can do. And I'm like, thank you. I mean, he had like his hand on my chest, and I was just glowing from the inside. And then he said, I mean chips. And I was like, oh my God. So then I texted Dax Shepard, Johnny, and I was like, it is important for you to know how much Michael Fassbender loves chips. Because this compliment should not be wasted on
That
me.
was a righteous thing for you to do.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was like, bro, you need to know that this is clearly a movie that means a lot to him.
I can also recommend the girl Keira Knightley has.
I
a
love
show
her. Yeah.
Dude,
called
she has
something doves, little
Black doves.
or
Black doves.
Black. She's freaking great.
Yeah.
And the guy who was James Bond's new gadget guy for a second.
Mhm.
What's his name?
Ben
He's-
something.
Yeah, he's a really handsome guy, and he's great.
Daniel, you
And
there?
the-
Will you look that up? Ben
And the two of them
something.
are, he's such a good actor.
Yeah, he is. That's a
Oh.
good show. I watched that one.
It's fantastic, and you can binge the whole thing. So yes, I am afraid this year I've been enjoying TV shows more than movies, to tell you the truth.
All right, now
I got to
John-
ask you both this question now.
Okay, I was gonna have my
As
turn.
of right now, okay, calm
No,
down.
go ahead.
As of right now,
Go ahead.
if it was a movie or a television show
Go ahead.
that was offered up,
Go ahead.
what are you going to take?
It depends on who's involved.
They're both equally. They're both equally impressive. Whoever's
on
on
TV
the
show, hands
you're
down.
going to go TV show.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what's
the
up.
TV show is going to mean more work of doing the thing you love. Yes, Daniel.
Ben Whishaw.
Ben Whishaw.
Yes.
Thank you. He's a phenomenal actor.
That guy can throw.
Yeah, I fucking love that guy.
He was Daniel Craig's new
Q.
gadget guy.
Yeah,
Q,
he was-
that's it.
yeah.
I couldn't
Yeah.
think of Q. And he was great. He was so glib, and he was great.
He
And
was
he's
really good in.
phenomenal in the Keira
Yeah.
Knightley thing.
He was really good in the Mary Poppins reboot too. He played the dad in it, and he was.
Oh,
the
you were the guy who
dramatic.
saw that.
Yeah, I was the one person. But he was very
not
dramatic
nice.
in it, and he had the dramatic role in the movie, and he did a great job.
Johnny, Donald, may I have a question now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Johnny, as one of New Jersey's most beloved sons, what are your thoughts on New Jersey being infiltrated and attacked
By aliens.
by drones and UFOs?
By aliens, dude. What the fuck is going on?
I have had more contradicting reports on this, and it's kind of fabulous to think that it is contact, isn't it?
Yes.
I believe so.
I mean,
Or-
it's easy to be cynical so quick, but it would be really great if they picked the Garden State as
Yes.
the touch point.
It makes sense.
It totally. Thomas Alva Edison was in there. Alan
Yeah.
Alda, Zach Braff, Johnny C.
Yeah.
McKinley, Jack Nicholson.
Well, listen, the world, many people don't know this, but cinema itself began in West Orange, New Jersey. And there's
That's
a
fact.
museum, and there's a museum there where Edison invented the film camera. And there's a thing called the Black Mariah. I know this not because of film school, because as a child I was taken there, which was a room, a large room, the first sound stage, if you will, not a sound stage, the first room you filmed in, and it was on a circular track with a retractable ceiling, and it
Wow.
would spin to find the sun. Wherever the sun was, you could rotate
Zachy.
the room on it. The Black Mariah, you can look this up on the Google.
I would
and it's-
fucking date you, Zachy. You talk like this.
I would too.
And generators, I would date you.
What's
I know.
Key
I
and
got to
Peele-
find a
that
really
Key and Peele
nice
sketch?
woman version of Johnny C.
I would date
What
you.
is-
We would be
what
a
is that Key
fucking
and
good
Peele?
couple.
What is that Key and Peele sketch where they're boxers and they're talking at the
I just sent you that one the other day.
and they're talking about the fight right
The
before
shit
the fight.
talking each other.
Yeah, and one guy goes, all I'm saying is we get in the ring, it's gonna be bam, boom, I'm gonna knock you out. And then the other guy kind of does a Mike Tyson talk, and he's like, listen, the only thing that's gonna happen is I'm gonna get in that ring and I'm gonna fuck you in the ass. He's like, what? He goes, yeah, man, he likes to get all in people's heads. He said, no. I'm not talking about getting in your head. I'm talking about getting in your asshole. I'm gonna love you. We're gonna go out on dates and I'm gonna take you out, and we're gonna be a couple that holds hands all the time. And just when we get comfortable and everybody's like looking at us like, oh, they're such a sweet couple. They look like they go and do great things together. I'm gonna take you home and I'm gonna enjoy fucking you in your ass.
See, you know what the problem
You
with
gotta
really
send-
skilled storytellers like Donald is?
What?
I'm going to go watch this, and it's not going to be half as good.
It's
as
going to
what
be
Donald
better.
just told
It's
me.
better.
It is.
No,
It's
it's
better.
not.
We'll send
I
it to you.
promise
It's
you.
not.
When
I'll
we get
send
off,
it to you.
when we get off the phone, we'll send
I'll
it to you.
send it
It's
to you.
fucking hilarious. It makes you so sad that Jordan Peele seemingly doesn't want to do sketch comedy ever again because he was one of the greats to ever do it, and it is the funniest fucking sketch. All Donald and I do these days is send each other on DMs back and forth Key and Peele
sketches.
Oh, well, put me in. I want to be circled into
All
that.
right, Ben,
All right, we'll
you're
add
in.
you.
You're
I
in.
don't know as much as I should know on that front.
Oh,
You're in.
They were brilliant, and on Instagram they sort of like cut them down to like just like a minute of the sketch. So it's the funniest part.
Did you guys make? We do it different than resolutions. We do intentions. We New Year's intentions. We have a bonfire down at the beach and tiny ones since they're not in vogue. And then you write down your intention on a little piece of paper and then you throw it in the bonfire. Did you guys make any intentions for 2025?
No, but we can right now in front of hundreds of thousands of people. Donald, go.
I just want to get my health in check, my family's
yeah.
health in check. You know what I mean? Like that's the goal. I've already stopped drinking. I've stopped smoking marijuana. I've
You're going to the gym.
I'm going to the gym every day now. I'm trying to get that. I don't know if I'll get a 6-pack again, but I'm going to try
Why
and
not?
get.
If we do
You
a
never
Scrubs
know.
reboot, I think you should be thin.
You never know. There's a rabbit hole of things that could be in the way of that. Like as far as lactose intolerant and celiac disease, all of these things.
What? You
Not
don't have celiac.
Not what's the where you're allergic to gluten. What's that?
That's celiac, but you would know if you have celiac. There's a test for it. You just might not. You might be gluten sensitive, but that's not going to inhibit your ability to.
But that's
to
a
lose
good
weight.
intention for 2025.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
want to get my health in check. I know I can't nurture it because it's nature ultimately at the end of the day. But I want to do my best to keep my family and myself in good health. That's my intention for 2025.
What about you, Zachy?
I would like to find love and
Oh, right on.
start a family if it's not too late for me. It might be too late to start a family. I don't know. But if it's not too late, I'd like to have a family, start a family.
What do you mean too late? Do you mean because do you have obstacles between your ears, or what do you mean?
I just mean I'm 49 years old, and I know there's plenty of people who have children up until they die. But I just mean, I'm in a place now where I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm on the fence if I'm going to be someone that has children or not. I feel like I could be swayed either way, depending on whom I fall in love with and what she wants. I feel like I could. I always thought I would definitively have children, but now I feel like I've reached a place and an age where I'm like, I don't know. It could fall either way. But I like the daydream of the idea of having a child.
Donald, did you know even early on? Did you always know you were going to be a father? That you were going to be a papa bear?
No, I had no clue. I didn't. I was. No, I had no clue. But once it happened and I experienced it, it's really gratifying. It's, watching yourself grow again. It really is like a time machine. You get to see yourself.
Have you gotten better at it as things have progressed?
No, I think I'm still learning. I think the mistakes that I made in the past, I'm not going to make again, but I'm definitely.
Well, I think that qualifies as learning and growing and getting better at it if you were to quantify it.
But I could fuck these kids up. I could fuck up Rocco or Wilder too. I'm sure of it. You know what I mean?
You're not
Like
going
this.
to because
I'm not. I don't want to.
Goes against everything that you're about.
I don't think you're going to do that, dude. You're a really good dad, and also Casey keeps you on the right track.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing that I did that I'm very proud of is that I chose the right person finally. I found the right one that, I was married before. I dated a bunch of chicks and all of that stuff. I dated a bunch of women and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, I found the right one and I know it.
Zach, I love you. Zach, I love you.
Like Zach was just saying, it when he was leaning into, and this is the connective tissue, is Casey. It's a two-way street, man. It's a two-pronged front. It ain't a solo act.
Mm-mm.
Otherwise, you crash and burn. And for you, Zachy, to know that you're going to lean into someone else with Zach and whoever this other person is, that's at least you got the blueprint down.
Well, I'm trying to put it. I'm trying to manifest it and find my partner, my person.
The person that you can accept and the person that accepts you is when it happens, you can't fight it though. You got to let it go.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, you can in fact fight it,
but then you're sabotaging yourself if you fight it.
Of course, but people do that every day.
That's true.
I do that every day.
That is true.
Johnny, what about you? What intention did you set for 2025?
I took about 4 years off here very much on purpose because I didn't like the sniveling pedophile and Hitler leaders and this kind of stereotype that white middle-aged men now are occupying in scripts. And so I turned everything down for the last 3 or 4 years because I didn't want to perpetuate whatever that stigma is. And also now white middle-aged men are stupid. And if you put me in front of a lens and say this face is stupid, it's bad casting. And so you get sent these things, and I didn't want to participate in that storytelling. And so I didn't. And so I got to be here for 3 or 4 years and help with really some foundational value structuring with the 2 girls and continue with Maxie. And everybody's in good shape. And so I was bold enough to say I'm going to work my ass off this year as a storyteller.
Good.
Not that I'm going to take time off as parenting, but I am going to work 14 and 16-hour days again. And I'm good with it.
Oh, I was about to say, doesn't that scare you? Because that kind of scares me now. Like, I don't want to miss. I want to work also. I definitely want to get out there and make shit happen. But I really enjoyed, since COVID, I've really enjoyed being present and home with my wife and children. You know what I mean? And it's
I've been daddy mom. I drive everybody. I'm daddy the driver. And what's great about being daddy the driver, and this is a 2-pronged participation response to you, Donald. What's great about being daddy the driver is people chat in the back to their friends because I'll drive their friends. A. B. There's no one else on the planet you're safer driving with me because nothing is going to fucking happen. And C, unfortunately around here, and D, I'm sure you got to be arriving at this pretty soon. I can hear a shot clock ticking to when the girls get their licenses, and they're going to be the fuck out of here, just like I was when Zachy and I in Jersey. When you got your license, you were the fuck out, and that's going to happen around here, and they're not going to rely on me as much for simply getting them transporting them from A to B. And so I relish that responsibility. That is not a burden to me. It never has been. And so when there's 4 or 5 of you back there and you're all chatty Cathys, I'm listening to every goddamn syllable, and it's fantastic. But I know people are going to get their licenses here in a minute or 2, and I'm not going to be needed as much, and that makes me really sad.
Yeah, it makes me sad to know that I got about 8 years until they're definitely going to fucking bounce. They're out.
Bounce.
They're out.
It's in our DNA, D. It's in our back east DNA.
Yeah.
That when you can bounce, these kids are not going to be and I'm not casting aspersions, but there's a disproportionate number of young people who move back into their parents' houses. And I get the socioeconomics of it. These 2.
See ya. See you later. Yeah. I know the 2 I got right now. They peace out, pops. I can already tell. Pops. I can already tell my daughter's like she's ready to go now. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous, man. And right, so boys. Yes, absolutely. That's the one thing that scares me is I want to work, and I want to work really. I still want to fulfill the dreams that I've had ever since I was a kid. I still want to pursue this craft to the fullest, but I don't want to miss out on the stuff that I've experienced in the last 4 years. The things that I've experienced in the last 4 years have been so amazing.
I feel
watching Rocco play basketball, Wilder getting into dance. You know what I mean? Like there's just so many things, you know, being there for my other children when they needed me. You know what I mean? There's so many other things that I got to experience, and I don't want to miss out on future stuff. But I do want to work. I want to work more than anything right now.
I'm choosing to believe we'll be in a position to find some modicum of balance. Whatever that looks like, I don't know. But I'm choosing to believe that given our experienced position, we'll be able to exercise some decision-making that will be able to integrate both work and participating as a parent into the equation. Don't you?
I hope so. Zach said something that really hit home for me. He was like, I haven't given up on life. This is like don't quote, this isn't what he exactly said. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but I don't want to spend the next few years being a workaholic. You know what I mean? I do want to work, but I don't want to be so stuck in my job that I'm missing everything that passes in front of me.
Yeah, but that's also coming from my place where like I feel like I've been since I was graduated college to now solely focused on work and haven't yet had a chance to have a family. And so I'm on a different sort of slightly different priority list than you guys, because you guys have made beautiful families, and I don't know, mine's a little my life's a little backwards that way.
But it's the same conversation, bro. You don't want to miss out on life.
It is the same conversation.
I just hope that I can find someone who is down to make babies with me. Donald, would you be willing to bear my children?
It'll be an ass baby.
I would love to put an ass baby in you.
What for the uninformed? What? I think I know what an ass baby is. What is an ass baby?
An ass baby is a fantasy creature that can grow in Donald's asshole.
I would grow in my. Yeah.
I would ejaculate in his rectum, and mysteriously our baby would grow, even though he does not have a uterus in there. Something would happen. Some magic is involved.
This is my first introduction to the concept of the ass baby.
Yeah, Donald and I would make
that's the first explanation of ass
Wu-Tang
baby that I've ever heard.
Wu-Tang forever.
Yes, that is what you're going to have. Donald, if I don't find a wife in the next 5 years, I would like to take you up on your offer to have an ass baby.
I didn't offer my ass. I just warned you that if there were to be a baby,
if you don't want my penis inside you, we could do what do you call it? IVF, where we just
in vitro
into your butthole with my semen with like a turkey baster. And on that note, I think we should wrap up. Johnny, we love you. It's so good to see you. Check out Johnny's podcast, Connective Tissues. It's really good. And Donald, count us out.
Well, count us in and out. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Stories about a show we made about a bunch of docs and nurses and